Right, episode 7. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed episode 6, which was the running session. At the time of filming this, the video only went up yesterday. So any feedback or anything I'll probably address in the next video. Today we're going to get on with lots and lots of small tasks, hopefully. You might be able to see from that angle there, most of the footboards are now actually off. This is something I did in preparation for the running session, just to make sure that none of them moved or caught the platform or anything like that while we were running. So yeah, they all came off before the running session, which I didn't get to film. So there's just that one left to come off there. The other jobs I'd like to have a look at today, really keen to, as you would have seen on the other side, I did the Hydrate 80 on a panel here and on a panel on the side of the chassis. I'd like to get some paint on top of that just to see what the colour comes out like. I've actually got the grey, the correct charcoal grey with me for the livery I want to put it in. So I'd like to just get an idea of what that's going to look like, just to see how the whole thing's going to end up turning out. And then I'd also like to get maybe one or two of the end panels primed and painted as well. Obviously there's a million other things to do in between doing all these things, but it's just nice to see something happening rather than obviously we're doing a lot of removing and repairing, but it's nice to make a little bit of forward progress as well, if that makes sense. We need to finish removing this section of wood off today as well, which has actually dried out. It's amazing once you start removing stuff. This has started to dry out, but obviously it's completely unusable, so that's going to have to go. And I also need to cut the bolts off behind here and measure them so I can go and get some replacements. I think they're actually like M12 screws, if that makes sense. So they're screw type. I've got the bolt type, the M10 bolt types on the end panels, holding the new pieces of wooden beam on there. But I think these are slightly larger, but I think they're more of a screw type because they're actually screwed into this piece of wood that's sat here. So once I've got replacements of them, I can then fit some new wooden panels underneath here, some new wooden beams underneath there, and screw them onto the metal holding the rest of the body together. But yeah, as I say, hopefully you guys did enjoy the running session. Obviously we can't do running every single time. Today, the day of filming this, it's actually the first open day for the Colne Valley, which is super exciting. So they're going to have, I believe they've got a steam engine running. I think so. They're doing a steam test on it today, and they're going to have the O3 running up and down the line as well. So we might be able to get some footage of that later on. But yeah, first things first, because I woke up this morning, it was -3. We're going to get the fire on and warm up a little bit. Have my croissants that I got picked up from Greg's on the way, and then we'll have a look at what we need to do inside. Right, so obviously we're inside the brake van now, and one thing I wanted to check when I first came in here, we did have a couple of days of rain throughout this week, and actually we had some snow as well, which was a bit unusual for this time of the year. But I wanted to come in here and check that the roofing felt had done the job, and luckily I'm happy to say so far there's been no water ingress at all in here. Obviously it's a bit cold in here because as it's exposed to the elements still, but I'm hoping once we've got the fire going we can warm it up a little bit in here. There is a lot of tidying to do now. As you probably see around me, I've used it as a bit of a dumping ground in here, to be honest with you. So I've got a couple of toolboxes, and I want to get them in here and just kind of organise stuff, because I've just got stuff everywhere. Like there's no, like sometimes it's good, just have a cleansing session of just making sure everything's nice and neat and tidy again, and then we can go and make some more mess. But yeah, first things first, as I said, I'm going to have some food, and then we'll get on with tidying this a little bit, and then we're just going to work on a few little bits and bobs today, I think. Just kind of assess a few things and see if we can make any progress anywhere. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please hit the thumbs up. As I said in all the other videos, if you've got any feedback, just leave them in the comment section below. And if you want to go the extra mile to support the channel, you can become a channel member just for 99 pence a month. And to do that, there should be a join button next to the subscribe. But yeah. Right, so it's relatively tidy in here now. As I say, I was just kind of organising the toolboxes, filling up the rubbish bags with stuff I don't need, giving it a general sweep and a bit of a tidy up, just so I can have a bit of clear space. But the first thing I'm going to get on with is the end panels. But before I get on with that, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to one of the subscribers, Gordon, who very kindly, for free as well, I did offer to pay for it, but he had said I could just have it, the wick and paraffin box, if you like, for the tail lamp. So a huge thank you to Gordon if you're watching. I really, really do appreciate you sending this. It saves me having to source one from anywhere else, and that can just slide in. It's got plenty, as you see, wick on it, ready to go. So yeah, can't thank you enough for that, Gordon. The other thing I got is these 3mm, 2 or 3mm thick, they're sort of plastic card, well, they're plastic embossed signs, and these are the overhead live wire signs. And I also got this protection of the line use track circuit operating clips for these as well over here. Obviously they can't go on until that's painted, but these are the correct era ones, because obviously originally they were a single sort of lightning bolt, if you like, and then later on they went to this double sort of danger in the middle of the double lightning bolt, and then obviously modern times they're all yellow warning signs. But for the era that the brake van's going to be and the livery it's going in, obviously the civil engineer's grey, these are perfect. Yeah, so they weren't cheap, but they should last a fair amount of time being plastic, so yeah, pleased with that. Right, so this is the first end panel I'm going to tackle. Now I've got the extension lead around here ready for the angle grinder. These pieces of wood are the pieces of wood from the top arch there, if you like, but as you can see they're pretty rotten, so I'm going to have them remade. But what I need to do first, obviously, before I can do anything, is use a wire brush and a broom and basically tidy up this bottom edge, because obviously we want the paint and everything down as neat as I can to the bottom where the concrete is. So I need to tidy up this, and then once I've done that, we can get the angle grinder. Like I said, we need to cut these bolts back as well, so these all need to be trimmed back. And possibly, I'm not sure if I want to remove that, because actually that's going straight through to the post. I don't really want to touch that. So just try and tidy up that a little bit, ready for some paint later on. But yeah, tidy this up, hydrate 80 it, and then we can come back later on this afternoon and hopefully paint it. So what I'm going to do now is tidy this up, and I'll catch you all in a second. Well, so that took a little bit longer than I expected. As you can see, I've just started sweeping up a little bit of the mess here, but basically what's going on in this, why it looks like a multicoloured mess at the moment, is because basically every area here you see where you've got this like speckled effect, basically that's where the metal originally, I'm no expert on how rust works or any of that, but that's where the rust has bubbled a little bit. So what I've ended up doing is going over the whole thing. You might be able to see there, that's completely worn away now, that disc there. And remove as many of the bubbles as possible, just so I've got a relatively flat surface. And what I want to do now is go over with a wire brush, just to make sure it's nice and smooth. Right, so it's been a little while and we've let it dry. I also did the horizontal coat as well. You might be able to see a little bit still at the bottom there. But this is all lovely, smooth and dry at the moment, which is now ready to be painted. So, colour choice. Now, I ordered charcoal grey. Now this looks very, very dark, but I don't know if it's just because it's in the tin it's in at the moment. But it might lighten up with a bit of sunlight on it. But at the moment, it looks a little bit too dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a coat of this on it just to see what the base colour looks like anyway. But I think we're going to have to come back with a lighter colour and see how that does. But yeah, what I'm going to do now is give this a coat of this, and I will see you all in a second. Right, so the Saturday is drawing to a close now, and I've managed to get a coat of this paint on, and as you can see, it's way too dark for what I want this to be. So I think I'm going to use this charcoal grey. It says it's charcoal grey, but I think it's closer to black than the charcoal grey advertised on the website. But I'm going to use this as an undercoat, and I can just do everything in this, and then I'll go over the top. I need to order a much lighter grey to go over the top of this, but I mean this will do for now in protecting it with all the work we've done today. And hopefully tomorrow it'll be nice and dry. The issue I've had today is little flies and things and dust getting on this, but I managed to sweep a lot of the dust that was flicking up away. So I'm hoping that while this dries, it's going to be okay. And then yeah, I mean it's not perfect. I wasn't expecting it to be perfect, but it's certainly an improvement on what it looked like before. Right, so from a couple of them time lapses, you may have noticed we've actually merged into day 2 of the weekend. And so far, as you would have seen, that paint dried way too dark for what I wanted. So that's just, as I said in the previous clips, that's going to be a base layer and then a lighter grey is going to go on top of it. But what you'd have seen from the time lapses just now and throughout this, I'm kind of preparing these braces for the running boards. So what I've just been doing with a sort of an abrasive attachment on the angle grinder is taking off as much of the crap on here as possible. And I actually started removing some of it on here as well. And as you'll see, Cargo Fleet England's actually just appeared under there, which I didn't know was written there. But yeah, so you'd have seen from there that I've kind of prepared these two as much as possible for some once again, Hydrate 80, would you believe it? But I need all of these to be cleaned, painted and tidied up before the wood goes on them, just to help preserve them a little bit longer. Today they're actually running the DMU with the lovely BR green and the whiskers on the front as well. So you'll see some running shots of that, I imagine, throughout this video as well. But yeah, all I'm going to carry on doing today, it's a bit, these kind of things, I don't know how much you guys want to see of this, but because it's just a lot of the same thing for many, many hours. So I'll try and keep it short and sweet. But yeah, I'm going to continue sorting this side out. And as I've done these two, I'm probably going to go and get some Hydrate 80 on these two, and then work on the next one, and then so on and so on. But as I said, Cargo Fleet England's appeared on here. I'd like to try and tidy up the rest of this panel as well, as this is where we did our first test of the Hydrate 80, and that's done really well. Yeah, I will probably join you in a little bit. Right, so I think that's going to be where I leave it for this video. I think we're episode 7. And the final bits I wanted to show you are, you might notice that the brackets that the running boards sit on are a little bit shinier now. And that's because I've been along with a wire brush and cleaned up all of these sides, all of these brackets on this side, and given them 2 coats of Hydrate 80. Honestly, cannot get enough of that stuff. It's probably the best stuff I've found since starting this project. Is Hydrate 80. So yeah, a couple of coats of that on there. Now these should be ready. Next time I'm down, I'm going to give them another coat of the black Hammerite paint, and then we should be good to get some running boards, at least on somewhere on here, so it's easier to climb up this side. So yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video. I'm sorry it's not as exciting as the running sessions. Hopefully you guys like the sort of day-to-day tasks, if you like, and if you're happy to carry on seeing the sort of less interesting stuff, if you put it like that, then please do let me know down in the comment section. I'm trying to keep it as interesting as possible for you guys, but there are some stuff on here that it just takes time, and maybe not the most interesting to watch, but I mean, this transformation of the brackets is a huge step forward. So yeah, really pleased with that. Yeah, other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. Again, like I said, any feedback to leave in the comment section below. And with that, I will see you all in episode 8. Cheers.